Going to discuss electric current. So you can observe these two materials. ఈ రెండిట్లో దేంట్లో కరెంట్ పాస్ అవుతుంది, పాస్ అవ్వదు అని చెప్పగలుగుతారా? మేబీ యూ కెన్ సీ ఇన్ వన్ స్టీల్ the current can pass, but in wood it is not possible. Why it is? సో అసలు ఏంటి ఎలక్ట్రిక్ కరెంట్ అంటే ఏంటి, అందులో ఏం జరుగుతుంది, ఈ క్లారిటీ మనకు రావాలి. సో ఆ క్లారిటీ రావాలి అంటే వాట్ ఈజ్ ద ఎలక్ట్రిక్ కరెంట్, వాట్ ఈజ్ ద ఐడియా, వాట్ ఈజ్ అవర్ మేజర్ డిస్కషన్ ఇన్ సేయింగ్ ఎలక్ట్రిక్ కరెంట్, we have to understand it first. Okay, so let me take one cross sectional area like this. క్రాస్ సెక్షనల్ ఏరియా అంటే ఈ పీస్లో ఒక ఏరియా జస్ట్ ఇలా కట్ చేస్తే ఏ ఏరియా కనిపిస్తుందో అది, ఆ ఏరియాని కొంచెం జూమ్ చేసి అర్థం చేసుకోవడానికి మనం డ్రా చేసాం. సపోజ్ ఇఫ్ దిస్ ఈజ్ అ కండక్టర్, వాట్ విల్ హ్యాపెన్, ఇట్ ఈస్ హ్యావింగ్ ఫ్రీ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్. వుడ్లో ఎందుకు కరెంట్ పాస్ కాదు అంటే ఫ్రీ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ లేవు, అందుకు ఇందులో పాస్ కాదు. బట్ స్టీల్లో ఫ్రీ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ఉంటాయి. సో ఫ్రీ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ఉంటాయి కాబట్టి కరెంట్ పాస్ అయ్యే పాసిబిలిటీ ఉంది. బట్ హియర్ ద కేస్ ఈజ్ వాట్ ఈజ్ ద ఎలక్ట్రిక్ కరెంట్ అనే ఐడియాని మనం డిస్కస్ చేసేటప్పుడు ద నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ చార్జెస్ పాసింగ్ త్రూ ఏ క్రాస్ సెక్షనల్ ఏరియా. Are you seeing this area? This is how many number of electrons are passing in that cross sectional area per second or in a second. So how many charges are passing? So that is going to be said as a electric current. So now in this case, without any potential difference, means without connecting any battery or like that, so is there possibility of electric current? No. But without connecting these potential difference or battery like this, is there possibility of motion of charges? Yes. Confusion ఉందా? పొటెన్షియల్ డిఫరెన్స్ కనెక్ట్ చేయకపోయినా ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ మూవ్ అవుతుంటాయి, కానీ అప్పుడు కరెంట్ కాదు. అది పొటెన్షియల్ డిఫరెంట్ కనెక్ట్ చేసిన తర్వాత, అదర్వైజ్ వెనెవర్ దెర్ ఈజ్ అ పొటెన్షియల్ డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ టూ టెర్మినల్స్, దెర్ ఈజ్ ఆర్డర్డ్ మోషన్ ఈజ్ గోయింగ్ టు హ్యాపెన్. సో వాట్ ఈజ్ ద మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ దాట్? సపోజ్ ఇఫ్ దెర్ ఈజ్ నో కనెక్టివిటీ ఆఫ్ పొటెన్షియల్ డిఫరెన్స్, what will happen, the net charge is going to be zero. Net charge motion is going to be zero. Why? Because in case of no connection of potential difference, what will happen, the number of electrons moving from A to B equals to number of electrons moving from B to A. So this is going to be equal, but in opposite direction they are moving, right? So that's why we are going to say that as net current is going to be, net motion of charge is going to be zero. Then automatically current is also going to be zero. Why? Because in the very beginning we are trying to understand electric current is nothing but charge flowing through a cross sectional area in a second, or charge per second. So that charge per second is going to give us current. What is going to be the unit? Charge units are coulomb, time unit is going to be second. Then in this case, charge per second, okay, in that charge units are coulomb, 1 coulomb per second. Suppose 1 coulomb per second is there. If 1 coulomb per second is there, what we are calling? It is calling as 1 ampere. సో యూనో మన దగ్గర ఉన్న మొబైల్ ఛార్జెస్ కానీ ల్యాప్టాప్ ఛార్జెస్, వాటి మీద ఒక ప్రిస్క్రిప్షన్ ఉంటుంది, దాని మీద ఒక ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ డేటా ఉంటుంది. సో ఇఫ్ యూ సీ దాట్ యూ కెన్ ఫైండ్ amperes in terms of ampere. If you find that 2.5A 2.5 A means 2.5 amperes. What is the meaning of that 2.5 amperes? What is in your charger description? You can find 2.5 coulomb of charge is flowing. So 2.5 coulomb charge is flowing through that area, through that cross sectional area. So in how much time? In only 1 second. So in that case only we are going to say as what? It is the 2.5 amps. So you have to understand, if there is no potential difference, there will be motion of charge, but it is not responsible for producing the current. Whenever there is a ordered motion, means from A to B or B to A, how it moves we will discuss after some time clearly, but you have to understand there is ordered motion. Whenever there is ordered motion, then only you have to say that is belonging to electric current. When there is simple motion, random motion is there, random motion can be there, but that is not going to lead to have the electric current. Now simply, what is a electric current? The electric current is the number of charges crossing the cross sectional area per unit second. Okay, so why it is started? Suppose, okay, it is happening, it is a conductor in this. Now is there possibility of flowing current? No. Why it is not? If you create the potential difference to this conductor, then only there is a possibility of electric current. So why when we connect a potential difference V, it is forming ordered motion. సో ఇంతకుముందు డిజార్డర్లో మూవ్ అయ్యేవి ఇప్పుడు ఒక ఆర్డర్లో మూవ్ అవుతున్నాయంటే ఎవరో ఒకరు స్ట్రైట్ చేసి ఉండాలి కదా. సో ఆ చార్జ్ అంతా ఒక ఆర్డర్లో వెళ్ళేటట్లు వర్క్ చేసి ఉండాలి కదా. యూ ట్రై టు అండర్స్టాండ్ అబౌట్ గ్రావిటీ మనం చూస్తాం కాబట్టి ఈజీగా అర్థమవుతుంది. ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ ఫ్రీగా ఏదైనా ఆబ్జెక్ట్ మన చేతుల నుంచి జారిపోయింది అనుకోండి, ఏమవుతుంది? సింప్లీ ఫాలింగ్ డౌన్. జస్ట్ వెన్ ఇట్ ఈస్ స్లిప్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ అవర్ హ్యాండ్స్, వై కాంట్ ఇట్ మూవ్ అప్? ఆలోచించారా? ఎందుకు ఎప్పుడు డౌన్వర్డ్ వెళ్తుంది? ఎందుకు డౌన్వర్డ్ వెళ్తుంది అంటే గ్రావిటీ అనేది అట్రాక్ట్స్ టువర్డ్స్ ద ఎర్త్ సెంటర్. కాబట్టి నువ్వు ఎక్కడ ఉన్నా ఏ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ స్లిప్ అయినా కూడా అది డౌన్వర్డే మూవ్ అవుతుంది అనే కాన్సెప్ట్ అర్థం ఉండాలి. దెన్ వై వీఆర్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ దట్ గ్రావిటేషన్ హియర్? బికాస్ గ్రావిటేషన్ ఈజ్ అ ఫీల్డ్ విచ్ కెన్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ దట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్, okay, on which it is in its boundary. Same way, whenever free charges, just now we spoke, right, free charges are there in the conductors, avi random ga move avutunnayi. Kani eppudaithe electric field, whenever we set the potential difference, electric field is going to form. Then that electric field from positive terminal to negative terminal, it is going to set the electric field. Then whatever the electrons are there are going to move in opposite to the electric field. ఓకే, సో అసలే ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ కనిపించట్లేదు, మళ్ళీ దాని మోషన్ గురించి డిస్కస్ చేయాలి, ఎవరు రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ అది మూవ్ అవడానికి, ఇలాంటి క్వశ్చన్స్ అన్నిటికీ జస్ట్ ద ఆన్సర్ ఈస్ ఎలక్ట్రిక్ ఫీల్డ్. బట్ యూ కెన్ అండర్స్టాండ్ ఇన్ గ్రావిటేషన్, జస్ట్ నౌ వీ డిస్కస్డ్, రైట్, object is falling down. Can you understand? The object is falling down with the uniform motion or accelerated motion, right? అంటే కాన్స్టెంట్ వెలాసిటీతో అలాగే వెళ్తుందా లేకపోతే యాక్సలరేషన్తో వెళ్తుందా అనే క్లారిటీ చూడాలి. సో వెనెవర్ దెర్ ఈస్ అ ఫీల్డ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ మూవింగ్, మీన్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ ఆర్ మూవింగ్ with acceleration, right? See, similarly here also you can understand, whenever the electric field is created, when we connect the potential difference, the electrons are moving with acceleration, okay. Imagine మీరు ఒక థర్డ్ ఫ్లోర్లో ఉన్నారు, ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ని డ్రాప్ చేశారు, బట్ it did not reach to the ground, it struck somewhere. So why? There is some obstacle, right? ఒక అబ్స్టకల్ ఉంది అక్కడ, ఆ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ డ్రాప్ అయింది, అక్కడ పడింది, అక్కడే ఉంది, ఇంకా వెళ్ళట్లేదు. సిమిలర్లీ ఇదే ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ మూవ్ అవుతుంటాయి, కానీ స్టేషనరీ పార్టికల్స్ ఆర్ దేర్. స్టేషనరీ పార్టికల్స్ అక్కడక్కడక్కడ బార్కేడ్స్ మాదిరి ఉన్నాయి. ఏమవుతుంది ఈ బార్కేడ్స్ మాదిరి అంటే, ఇవి వచ్చేసి ప్రోటాన్స్, ఫిక్స్డ్ ions. Okay, electron is coming with some speed, okay, imagine it's coming faster, hitting it. After hitting the lattice or obstacle, what will happen? It loses its velocity. Then what will happen? సో మనం ఎప్పుడైనా పరిగెత్తుకుంటెళ్ళి ఎవరైనా తగిలిన తర్వాత ఏమవుతుంది? గొడవ అవుతుంది, అది కాదు. What happened to our speed? Our speed vanished. అక్కడ జీరో అయిపోయింది, ఇంకేం లేదు, we struck, right? So but when we have some kinetic energy in motion, where that kinetic energy has gone, that energy should convert into some other energy, right? So similarly electrons also moving with some motion, some velocity, and they are going to lose their kinetic energy, and that kinetic energy is converting into some other energy. So that some other energy is heat energy. That's why when conductor is conducting electrons some time, okay, after that it is going to be heated, right? So that's why we are getting it. Before that you have to understand it is moving with a constant acceleration, and we understand the direction also opposite to the electric field. Conventionally electric field is taken as from positive terminal to negative terminal, but electrons are moving opposite to that. So to understand it, generally in gravitation, if any object is falling, it can reach to the ground. What is the gravitation direction? Downward, right? Gravity is acting downward. What is the direction of motion of this body? That is also downward. So now we can say both are moving in same direction, but in case of electrons it is different, it is quite opposite. Field direction is from positive to negative, but electrons motion it is happening from negative terminal to positive terminal. That we have to understand it, right? And we understand what is happening when it is colliding with the protons, right? So whenever it is connected with the potential difference, what happens we are understanding, and the electric current is going to be produced. Here to understand what, okay, simple formula, I equals to Q by T. With this we can calculate the electric current. But if this conductor is not regular shape, so what is going to happen? Irregular shape, some other, okay, so not a definite shape. In that also can we apply Q by T? Okay, obviously we can apply, but just now if it is the conductor copper, suppose the conductor is copper or silver or gold, if like this any one of the material is using as a conductor here in this case, okay, what is the current we can calculate. But if you use instead of copper silver, will you get the same current for the same potential difference? That's going to be different. So that depends on what? It depends on charge density. Charge density. We have to understand what is that charge density. Here it is charge density. Charge density is equals to charge over volume. Charge over volume. Charge over volume. So if you want charge, what we can do? Density, charge density, if I take it as N and it is going to be taken as a Q by V, you can get Q as charge density into volume, right? Charge density into volume. So actually the basic idea I equals to Q by T. Okay, I have taken here capital Q or small q, that's not a big issue. You can just can understand. But here what is the volume? What is the volume? That is a matter. Suppose if the time taken, we know speed, if you know, you can calculate the distance how much it can travel, right? And when we know the time also, what is that? Speed equals to distance by time. What is the distance? What is the distance? Speed into time. This is going to be taken as one dimension. And to get the volume, what we can get? How we can get volume? Volume equals to area into, so another distance, how much it is traveled. Suppose you imagine in time t, from here to here an electron has traveled, and what is the volume covered by this electron in that time t? In that time t, how much distance has covered, that you can calculate. And what is going to be the volume of this, you can take here. That's why I am taking area, cross sectional area, and so what is going to be that? Distance, area and distance, how much it is traveled in time t. Okay, if time is unit time, we already spoken from the very beginning, time is only 1 second. If you take time equals to only 1 second, what is going to be the d? Distance is equals to speed. Okay, distance is going to be speed. Then you are going to write area into speed, you are going to write it. But area into speed, it is going to give what? It is giving us the idea of volume. Now try to understand. It is having charge density also, N. If you are calculating all these values to the copper, let us find with what speed these electrons in the copper are going to move. So let us take that values. The first charge density we have to take. The charge density is 8.5. That is N value 8.5 into 10 to the power of 28 is given. This is the charge density. Means these many number of electrons can be there in meter cube volume. The next you can understand what is the charge of electron. Charge of electron is equals to what? 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb is there. And what is going to be the area you are going to take here, because we need a value here, right? So area into speed, you are going to write it. Area into drift speed. This is going to be volume. Then N into V, right? So if you want to get I value, how you can write it? In case of Q, what you are writing? See this, I equals to, okay, values we have taken this, and area is taken 1 mm square or 10 to the power of minus 6 meter square is going to come. Time is taken as 1 second. In 1 second all these things are happening, but we have to find what is the current in this case. I equals to Q by T. Q is equals to what? Q is equals to what? Let us write all these values. Area, of course, total charge we need, right? Total number of charges are how many? N. How many volumes, how many are there in volume? Yes, that we have to. These are, we are getting just number of charges. Total charge is how much? It has to multiply with the charge, right? Multiply with the charge. NVE. It is a volume. In case of volume, by time you have to take it. In case of volume, what you can write? Area, right? Area. N into area into what is you are going to write? Drift speed. Drift speed. VD into T you are going to write. So already we have converted T equals 1 second. That's why no need of E. VD into E divided by 1. Right? Why we are taking time is only 1 second. That is I equals to this. Okay. In micro level, if you want to find what is the current, you are going to do with this formula. And if you substitute all these values, you have N value, A, and you want just D, drift speed you want, right? I value is current. If there is only 1 ampere current, if there is only 1 ampere current, what is going to be the drift speed? Or in reverse you can think, if these charges are going to give 1 ampere current, with how much speed, with how much drift speed they have to move. They have to move. So then you can take it, I value, N values, all you can substitute. N, simply to remember, I say like this, E van D, E van, right? So E banking, like you can remember E van, E V A N, E van, by time is only 1 second, nothing, no value, no need of any specific attention. So I value, so you want D, right? VD equals to drift velocity equals to, not distance, okay, suffix, it is a V suffix D, drifter. Oh, then you are going to get I by EAN. When you calculate all these values, you are going to get, in case of copper, as 0.07 mm per second. Can you imagine that speed? 0.07 mm per second. Even ants can move more faster than this. చీమలు కూడా ఎక్కువ స్పీడ్తో పోతాయి. 0.07 1 mm అంటే ఎంత ఉంటుంది? ఆ mm 100 పార్ట్స్. ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తున్నాం, 7 mm తీసుకొని దాన్ని 100 పార్ట్స్ చేస్తే ఎంత అవుతుంది? అంత పార్ట్ మాత్రమే ఒక సెకండ్కి మూవ్ అవుతుంది ఎలక్ట్రాన్. ఎందులో? ఇన్ కేస్ ఆఫ్ కాపర్. So that's why we can calculate the electric current in this way. The very simple logic, I equals to Q by T, or otherwise in micro level you want to see I equals to E van D. So by using all these you can find it, right? So you have to remember this concept, but our major attention is current. We are getting benefit by the current, but why that current have started and where it has started, because of what it was started, all these questions we can discuss in the next video.